You're on $500,000 this year, and you're still doing that thing on a Sunday night where you open the banking app and just look at the number, like it might have changed since Friday. It hasn't. There's a decent buffer sitting there, sure, but nowhere near what $500,000 is supposed to feel like. So why does it feel roughly the same as it did on $180,000 4 promotions ago? Here's the part nobody explains at the payrise meeting. Past $190,000 of taxable income, 45 cents of every extra dollar goes to the Australian Taxation Office, plus another 2 cents for the Medicare levy. That's 47 cents gone before it's even yours. The higher you climb, the less of the climb you actually keep. Nobody sits down and consciously decides to spend more. It just happens in small, reasonable-feeling steps, each one easy to justify on its own. The rental becomes an $880,000 mortgage in the right school zone. And when the RBA nudges rates up again, the repayment jumps by a few $100s, and somehow still gets absorbed without much of a conversation. The car becomes a lease instead of a loan. Weekend plans get a little more expensive without anyone deciding that on purpose. The kids' school fees land around $50,000 a year for the two of them, and none of that shows up on a tax return. It just quietly eats whatever extra the pay rise handed you. 2 years ago, the income was $180,000, and the savings account actually moved every single month. A few $100s here, a few hundred there, visibly. Now the income is nearly triple that, and the account barely twitches from one payslip to the next. That's not really a spending problem, and it's definitely not a discipline problem. It's income and lifestyle rising on the exact same elevator, floor for floor, at exactly the same speed. Nobody ever gets ahead riding an elevator that only ever goes as fast as their pay does. What would it actually take to get off that elevator one floor before the top? Every year around the same time, a renewal letter turns up from the health fund, and every year the premiums crept up a little further, enough to make cancelling it feel tempting for about 5 minutes. Health funds count on exactly that 5 minutes. Here's why dropping the cover to save money almost never actually pays off once the income's this high. Past about $100,000, the Medicare Levy Surcharge kicks in if there's no private hospital cover on the policy. An extra 1 to 1.5% of the whole income gone every single year for absolutely nothing in return. On $500,000, that's not loose change. That's thousands of dollars simply for not owning a policy that, premiums included, would probably have cost less overall. It's roughly the price of a decent family holiday, disappearing quietly into a levy instead of a beach somewhere. Compare that to someone on $120,000, sitting just under the threshold, watching the exact same premium letter land and shrugging, because the surcharge was never theirs to worry about in the first place. And the frustrating part is nobody chooses this deliberately. Most high earners paying it are paying it by accident, not by preference. When was the last time anyone at this income actually sat down and checked whether the cover was still cheaper than the surcharge? A super statement turns up in the mail or the inbox, balance sitting somewhere around $210,000. And it feels like the one part of the money that's safely out of reach of all this, tucked away, growing quietly, untouchable until retirement. It isn't, not entirely. Once income passes $250,000, the ATO applies something called Division 293, an extra 15% tax on the concessional contributions going into that super account, on top of what's already been taken out of them before they even landed there. Nobody sends a warning letter about it either. It just shows up as a smaller number on a statement most people skim straight past. Most people earning this much have never even heard the name. 2 years earlier, on $180,000, every dollar going into super copped the normal treatment, and nobody thought twice about it. Cross that $250,000 line, and the exact same contribution, the exact same dollar figure, quietly gets taxed twice before it starts working. So even the retirement account, the part of the money that felt furthest from all this, isn't fully out of reach of the bracket sitting above it. What else is quietly leaking out of a corner nobody's ever actually checked? None of this means the $500,000 is a trap. It means most fit is simply underused. The concessional contributions cap sits at $30,000 a year. And if a few of the last 5 years went by without using the full amount, that entire unused gap can be claimed back in one go, deliberately, instead of quietly losing another slice of this year's pay rise to the top rate. It's not a loophole. It's just a rule almost nobody at this income actually uses, because nobody explained it, and the default is always to let the money sit in the account and get absorbed. Think of it less as a clever tax trick and more as choosing where the money goes before the government quietly decides for you. Someone on $180,000 who does this consistently, year after year for a decade, putting the spare room in the cap to work every single time it appears, can genuinely end up further ahead by retirement than someone on $500,000 who never touches it once, not because they earned more, because one of them made the extra dollars actually work somewhere, and the other let the lifestyle quietly absorb every bit of the climb. Same income gap at the start, completely different view from the top by the end. It's the same pattern from the very start of this video, just running at a bigger scale. Which version of that sounds more like where this is actually headed right now? Go back to that Sunday night. Banking app open, same habit, same slightly unconvinced look at the number. Except this time, a chunk of what used to quietly disappear into lifestyle, levies, and an untouched cap is sitting inside that $30,000 concessional contribution instead, working in the background, rather than leaking out the side every single year. The number on the screen still won't feel like $500,000. It probably never really does, no matter how high it climbs. But it'll feel like progress instead of a treadmill, like the account is actually going somewhere for once, instead of just quietly refilling itself every fortnight and calling that normal. Same income, same Sunday night ritual, completely different feeling underneath it. What would it take for your own Sunday night check-in to feel like that instead?